Go again.
We are indeed back live. I do apologise. I don't know from when that stream was down, but the stream has went down at some point, folks. If you were watching, I think even before the race even started, which is a real shame for you guys watching. I do apologise for the technical issues, but it is TRL Martin that does lead this race. He got the jump at the start on Danny M7, who's endured a nightmare start to this Grand Prix. It's Martin in the lead, from TOR Leopard in second, then it's OMG, it's Joe in third, Rosberg fourth, and then a huge train of cars behind. It's Rosberg in fourth, Danny fifth, and Drawmaster in sixth, all in a little tussle. And then further back you've got Reynolds, the two Toro Rossos, more so in Apex, dueling as well, James. And those Toro Rossos, they seem to like battling one another, race after race after race. We talk about that, don't we?
Yeah, they stick to each other like glue, and it's really good to see that as well. The Ferrari ahead of them actually hasn't got DRS, but it's really crucial for these guys ahead that they stick with each other. The likes of Rosberg, Joe and Danny, they really need to keep tabs on each other, because these guys are all going for the same place of the championship, and that is inevitably towards the top. So they cannot afford to make any kind of mistakes this race. It's going to be so interesting though to see the top two going absolutely at it on track. Danny versus Rosberg. Last time I think we properly saw that was in Spain, and that was fireworks. So hopefully we get the same fight here today.
Yep, and look how tight that is between Drawmaster Danny and Rosberg. It really is getting close between those guys. Martin has stretched his advantage to around 1.1 seconds. Leopard isn't exactly being dropped though, he's right there. Joe in third, and then a little gap back. Well, not really a gap back from the top to Joe in third, with Rosberg, Danny and Drawmaster all in a little group of four. Then Reynolds with the two Toro Rossos, which we have spoke about on many occasions, battling. I think most drivers going for the ultra soft tyre, then perhaps moving on to Danny M7 with a 3-second time penalty, and that is very early in the Grand Prix. Not something you want to be having to deal with at this stage, is it, James?
Absolutely not. That's just going to cripple his hopes. Although the way you can look at it is if, like, now you've got nothing to lose, so you just have to go for it. So that's the one positive on his side. But Rosberg looked properly close to Joe as they head towards turn 3.
Yeah, very, very close, unable to make the move, but he's going to maybe pull alongside on the exit. Joe should have a better exit coming out of there, and he sure does. He holds on to that third position at the moment. Rosberg sneaking up behind him in the run down to turn 4. Is there any way he can make a move stick? And no, he cannot. He remains stuck behind Joe at the moment. Martin leads Leopard now, pulling it down with under a second. So Leopard, does he have the pace here to take this to TRL Martin? It seems like he might. Early days for sure, but Joe is looking like the cork in the champagne bottle at the moment. Rosberg behind him, Danny behind him, Drawmaster behind him, and pretty soon Reynolds will be on the tail as well. But Joe seemingly not up to speed when it comes to race trim, is he? And he's running wide onto the curbs. They're not the kind of curbs you want to be riding. This Austrian circuit is well known for being unforgiving on those curbs, and Joe all out of shape. Rosberg ducking and diving right up behind him as they start lap 6 out of 36, and at the moment Joe seems to be just about holding on. So they climb the hill once more up towards turn 2 and 3, and is Rosberg any closer to make a move? It doesn't seem like it. His best chance seems to be setting it up for turn 4, James, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got to, you're right, just set this lap up now. Let's see what he can do, because the dirty air will affect him through that middle sector. Of course, they've got to negotiate that long left-hand hairpin. Also, just a quick note on Leopard and Martin. That's down to half a second. Leopard is really pulling on the star now. Joe is just seemingly holding up a queue of cars. We've seen it quite often, to be fair, this season, where a car just seems to hold a complete train behind him, and Joe is the latest protagonist onto that list. So yeah, he will need to be wise about where he positions his car, as Danny hasn't been, and Drawmaster's all over him as they head down towards the final few corners. Called Drawmaster, pull alongside him. He'll try it up the inside, and he goes for the move, and there he is. The Super Swede, as you call him, is through, but not for long, because T-side Danny's back on his case, I suppose you could say, and he can't quite pull alongside the Swedish driver of Drawmaster. It stays Drawmaster in 5th and Danny in 6th.
Yeah, good racing there, Danny. All out of shape there, wasn't he? And very nearly ran into trouble and ran into the gravel trap, but he drops behind Drawmaster, who takes that 5th position, and the Super Swede is on the climb as Leopard, as you say, 6 tenths behind Martin, doing a really good job. Meanwhile, Apex and Morso are getting really close, side by side, rubbing wheels. I think that's just about every race this season they've been rubbing wheels, and as a result, that's allowed CRL Hamilton to get onto the tail of TR Apex, and he's going to try and sweep right round the outside into turn 4. That is not easy to do. You'll have to hang it right round there and try and get the inside for turn 5, and there's no way he'll be able to do that as they run down into turn 6. CRL Hamilton remains in 10th. And he's a man that's been slightly disappointing this season, hasn't he, James? Failing to pick up the kind of points we'd expect from him so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had his chance. I'm sure he has got the pace. He's definitely got the pace to be up there with the top guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can actually now achieve. He needs to get on at the second half of the season because, unfortunately for him, I'd say the championship's pretty much gone. But yeah, he'll try and get the better results coming into the board as they round off this season. Leopard is getting decreasingly closer, I suppose you could say, to Martin ahead of him. He's going very late on the brakes as they head towards turn 3. This is a good chance for him down towards turn 4, Andy. Yeah,
there's a good chance. Leopard is absolutely flying at the moment, and Martin is under some serious pressure here. I'm a bit surprised with this. Leopard, who was very, very late to put a time on the board in qualifying, showed his hand right at the end, only a tenth and a bit away from the pole position, has suddenly emerged as the candidate to challenge Martin for the victory. Danny dropping all the way to 6th position from that superb late effort in qualifying, and it's now the Renault of TOR Leopard who's moving himself into position to challenge TRL Martin for the victory. And maybe, just maybe, James, we are on for 5 different winners in 5 races. And I tell you what, that would be some advert for the league, wouldn't it? That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't even rule out Leopard for the championship. He's right in there. Danny's having to... Oh, he's coming to the pits. Drawmaster side by side with Rosberg as they head down towards turn 1. He's got the move done as Drawmaster on the Mercedes, late on the brakes. Drawmaster, you expect the Super Speed to do that. That's what he is primed and known for. Fantastic move from Drawmaster. Into 4th place he goes. Has he got the pace to challenge Joe towards turn 3? Not quite.
Rosberg's coming back with the looks of it, and Rosberg sends it back up the inside, and that was very late on the brakes, bundling across the curb. Drawmaster had to make sure he'd seen him coming, and Rosberg, well, a little rude, but he's back up into that 4th place, and look at Drawmaster all over his tail, trying to get back through into turn 4, but unfortunately he cannot do that, and Rosberg, at the end of that little battle, remains in that 4th position. But wow, that was late on the brakes, wasn't it, James?
Absolutely. You just got to give a bit of credit there that those two just carried on racing. Knew there wasn't too much malicious intent in there, I suppose you could say. But of course, they're just going to stay as they were. Martin looks like he may be coming into the pits this lap. He could be falling us though, and he is in. And Leopard will follow him in as well. That's a big call from the Renault.
Wow, this is absolutely crucial for the outcome in this Grand Prix. Overtaking proving to be more difficult than we anticipated as TR Apex picks up a 3-second time penalty. This is why the mechanic practiced so hard all winter long and on Thursdays when they get a chance, and during practice sessions in the pit stops, to see if they can get their man out ahead of their rivals. But unfortunately for Leopard, on this occasion, it has not been able to work as V6 Racing picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Leopard will have to overtake Martin on the racetrack. They're moving on to the soft compound tyres, and they intend to run to the end of this Grand Prix. If Leopard wants to win this race, he'll have to do it on the road, James.
Absolutely, and Joe's been pulled under so much pressure by the two. There's actually a Mike behind, that's Danny behind Joe as well. That's quite crucial for this race. Hagen really is playing as a bystander of this, and Danny's at the inside of 1. Can he get 2? They're going to go 3 wide nearly in towards turn 4, but I think Danny's on the inside. He's going to go right on the attack here. Needs to get this move done down in towards turn 4. Is he going to get it done? He's so low on the brakes. Then side by side, I think he's got through. Who's that running wide? Leopard. That's Leopard going wide. Well, I don't know what's happened to him there, but he's dropped all the way back, and that's going to allow Danny, in essence, to a net P3 or 2 in this Grand Prix. So that's a huge moment in this race.
I don't know what happened to Leopard there. He was showing up his AI as Gauss runs off the road, and Hayden sweeps past him on the run through turn 8 and down towards turn 9. And it's all changing and all the time here as now Leopard gets back ahead of Gauss. I think Leopard had a controller issue or a wheel issue, or he was shouted for something in his room. I don't have a clue, but he had to pause the game. I have no idea what it was, and Leopard, as a result, has lost massive amounts of time on that lap, and he drops all the way down to 10th behind, crucially, his rivals Danny, and perhaps even a few others when they make their pit stops as well, James. Surely Rosberg will be ahead of him, Reynolds will be ahead of him as well, I would think.
Moments like that define seasons, really, and it's not the time that you would have wanted to be going into little misfortunes like that, is it? And Drelux has actually managed to get his way past V6. That is a ding-dong battle for P4 right there. Absolutely fantastic to see. Okay, it's not actually for P4, it's for a little bit less than that. But Martin who is on now the soft tyres, will not want to be caught up in this traffic. That could halt his charge in this Grand Prix. And he almost hasn't been proven to be the fastest guy out there so far. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do against this traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they really will want to clear them quickly because these guys will be going a lot longer into the Grand Prix. So to lap 12, and now Reynolds has felt the need to come into the pits. So Reynolds makes his stop, but Martin needs to get a move done pretty soon, and he moves past V6 Racing and up into 5th place. But next up, Dralix and Kay, and those guys are battling. You do see quite often that when cars aren't in the same race, they will move aside, but when they're actually in a battle, it becomes more difficult for them to move aside because they're actually trying to overtake the car in front. So we'll keep an eye and see if Dralix does move aside from Martin. I don't think he will, because he'll be wanting to keep Kay in close proximity, won't he, James?
Absolutely, but let's just point out there's no rule in the rule book that states that they have to get out of the way. They're still technically racing for their own position. They're not back markers, but they're kind of I suppose you could call them back markers, but they're not technically being lapped or anything, so they can fight this as hard as they like. It's all down to them as the driver and his prerogative, I think the word is, and what they decide to do now. So that's going to be, you're right, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Rosberg is into the pits. Yeah, Rosberg coming into the pits. So the question is, I don't think he'll be getting anywhere near taking the lead of this race from Martin, but certainly he could be piling some pressure on Danny and perhaps Leopard here as well. I think Danny will be ahead of him. We'll keep an eye on it, but it's a very late stop. They've already passed him.
Yeah, they're already flying past him.
They're already through.
Well, goodness me, the undercut must be extremely powerful. How is Rosberg dropping this far down the field? Goodness me. That is yeah, there's Reynolds going past as well. Wow. And now Apex onto his case as well. I cannot believe how powerful that undercut is. So that late call then from Rosberg could have scuppered his race, as look at the train of cars we've got here on the fringes of the top 10. Hayden 10th, Morsel 11th, Reynolds 12th, Rosberg 13th, Apex 14th, and Gauch, well, he's off the tail of it, in 15th and last. And we've lost CRL Hamilton from this race. I'm not sure when we did, but his race this season, in fact, has just been a bit of a nightmare as Morsel finds his way past Hayden, James.
Absolutely, Danny seems to be a lot closer than I actually first thought to Tyrrell Martin. Martin is right behind Elke, who's just about to dive into the pits. That's compromised his run as he comes through the final corner. Trainers could be all over him. Got to watch Danny behind though. This could be really interesting as this race progresses, because that's about a second between those two. So keep an eye on Danny versus Martin. Although Danny is on the super soft tyres.
Two-stop. Surely a two-stop.
Yeah.
It has to be. It can't be a one-stop. There's no way he'll take those to the end of the Grand Prix, and he needs to get a move on here if he wants to make it work. He's going to try and sweep round the outside of Dralix. In fact, Dralix decides to move aside. As we were speaking about previously, sometimes drivers will want to move aside. They're not obliged to, but in this case, Dralix does, and that frees Danny up to start attacking Martin. And this is going to be a bit of an uphill struggle. Surely it's asking too much of Danny to go past Martin and then build a pit stop of a gap. But we'll certainly see how it works for him. It's always good to see drivers try different strategies, isn't it, James? We do like to see it being mixed up. Too often nowadays it's a simple one-stop strategy, and it's good to see someone try something different. So can Danny close onto the back of Martin and make a charge in the next few laps? Meanwhile, further down the field, CRL, Rosberg and Reynolds and Apex all seem to be in a thrilling battle, and Reynolds closing onto the back of Rosberg, who seems to have got back through ahead of Reynolds after those pit stops, where of course Reynolds jumped in by pitting that lap earlier, but Rosberg now back ahead, and on those fresher tyres you would expect to break away as V6 Racing makes his pit stop. Is it enough? Although it has super soft tyres. We'll see how much longer Dralix chooses to go, but it is, after 15 laps out of 36, Martin in the lead and Danny only 6/10 behind.
Yeah, Drillmaster's looking really racy behind Joe. That's P5 at the moment, technically P4, but he'll want to get this move done as soon as possible. You're right what you say about Martin's strategy though. It's going to be difficult for him on the tyres. I don't think the tyre around here is particularly brilliant, so you can do the one stop, but Danny is properly risking it, I think, trying to hang out the two stop. He really will have to go full guns blazing on in this race. He will be flying. Hopefully, for his case, that he will be. But of course, we're commentators and we want to see a fifth different runner. So we all hope that it's going to storm through the pack and win.
I suppose. I mean, anything can happen. We know that, and we will wait and see what does unfold in the next few laps. There could be contact between drivers, there could be disconnections, crashes, any sort of thing can happen, and it usually does, as Danny now really is primed and ready to attack TRL Martin as they climb up the hill through turn 3, up towards turn 3 they go now, and Martin late on the brakes, and is that a little too late, because here comes Danny steaming into the apex and nearly clatters into the side pod of TRL Martin. He knows if he wants to go well in this race, he has to get this move done as they run down towards turn 4. Very late on the brakes goes Danny up the inside. He sort of teases Martin, lets him know he's coming. Martin's not having any of it as he goes sweeping down the hill into turn 6. Round the outside tries Danny, but Martin has the high line and holds the position, holds the lead, and Danny remains frustrated in second, James, but surely it's a matter of time before he climbs back up into the lead.
That was absolutely terrific. The moment up towards the apex of turn 3, that was a really missed opportunity for Danny, because actually he hesitant on the brakes. Martin went a bit deep to give him the room that he needed, but then he put the power down too much and then just lost all momentum. So he could have actually got the position there, but it's just a little bit of misfortune for Danny. He'll give it another good go though, up towards turn 3 once again.
Alex in the pits, and Danny tries again then as they go up towards turn 2 and towards turn 3, up into 7th gear, into 8th gear, almost 200 miles an hour. Is he going to dive up the inside? No, he thinks better of it, and this time he's not going to go hot into the corner. He's going to try and set this up for a run down towards turn 4. The TRS opens up on that Force India, but it looks like Martin is going to hold on to the position easily on this occasion, and the frustration continues to build. So Martin leads, Danny second, TOR Leopard now back up into third on that recovery drive from that earlier mishap. That's all we can call it, a mishap. We do not know what happened to TOR Leopard. As well as that, Drawmaster is right behind OMG. It's Joe, isn't he?
Absolutely. I just want to point out quickly though, because these two are actually in a battle for the lead of this Grand Prix. Now, Leopard is closing that gap at an ever-present rate, so he could be back in with a chance of winning this race, but he'll need to get the afterburners on, and he'll need to go 4 guns blazing like Danny in this race, because Martin is a very quick guy and he's going to be very difficult to pass for any of these guys. So Leopard really does need to make his race ambitions abundantly clear over the next few laps or so, whilst these two are still battling away for the lead of this race.
Will it ever get to the point, James, where TRL Martin decides that fighting Danny ferociously is pointless because he doesn't think he'll catch him later on, and he won't want to lose time to Leopard? But if it gets to that stage, will he let him go? That's another question. I mean, at the moment he's not causing him too many problems. He's not having to get off the racing line and lose time, and so why bother letting him through, especially if he can hold him? But surely after another 5 or 6 laps, and Danny's still on his tail, he might decide to say, on you go Danny, you're not going to win this race from this point. But no sign of it at the moment, and no need to think about it at the moment, because Danny just cannot get close enough, and this Austrian circuit is proving a lot more difficult to overtake than we first thought, isn't it?
Trouble is, yeah, you're right, but the trouble that we've got here is the degradation. You know, I mean, these guys battling away as hard as they are. The tyres are just going to get even worse, and they cannot deal with it. They cannot deal with that strain on the tyre, especially not Danny, because he knows that he needs to get the move done now and just pump in fast laps. That was all he could do in this race and hope to get the two stop to work. At the moment, it only seems like the real gainer out of all this is probably Leopard. He's getting a bit of clean air, he can witness the battle ahead of him, and he's not got too much dirty air, if any dirty air, behind them. So he's got a real chance now of getting this race lead.
He sure has, and so has Reynolds. Getting 7th place from Morsel. He's having a look up the inside, brakes late, almost lets him know he's coming.
Oh, Danny's up the inside of Martin as they come into turn 4. They're banging wheels again, and Danny's up this will be around the outside towards turn 6. He'll give it a good go. Martin holds on the inside. Will he keep it there? They'll go side by side. Surely not. Through turn 6, running in wide. They're banging wheels again. Still side by side. Danny has to back out, but I'm not sure it's going to be for that long. Oh, he's gone massively wide.
Goodness me, Danny just about threw it in the kitty litter, and now Leopard is right on his tail. Wow, that was superb racing between them both, and Danny, for his troubles, now picks up a further 3-second time penalty. That's 6 for him in this Grand Prix altogether, and Martin can breathe a sigh of relief. He has been able to hold on to that lead of the race with some brilliant defensive driving, great racing from the pair, and that really was absolutely sensational. Now Leopard is in a position where he needs to get past Danny quickly, or is Danny going to close up on Martin again? I would think he will in the next few laps, James. Wow, what a race we have in our hands between these three.
Within the space of a lap, it's now become a three-way fight,
Yeah.
and I did not expect it to come that quickly. So that is quite big news in this race. I'm not sure where Danny will stop either. I mean, I'd imagine around lap 25 and take a set of ultra softs potentially to the end of this Grand Prix. But yeah, that was really great racing between those two. Really fair. It's just Danny just lost it under almost the dirty edge. Just didn't find the grip coming off the exit of this chicane that we're coming into now. Really unfortunate for him. Nearly does it the exact same again. Nearly dropped it again. But yeah, he will need to get a move on, as you say.
Yeah, it's really shaping up to be quite a tussle between these guys. And I tell you what, the problem for Danny is when he comes in, if he comes into the pits anytime soon, with a set of ultras, he's going to be, what, 9th, 10th? And we're seeing how difficult it is at the moment to overtake cars when you're on a tyre one stage softer. I mean, okay, he's going to be on the ultras, the rest are on softs, but it's certainly not going to be sailing past cars left, right and centre going on this evidence. So he's certainly going to have his work cut out, and to really make it work, he has to clear Martin right now. So on the exit of turn 3 they go again, and sweeping down the hill they will go towards the braking point of turn 4, and again Martin has no issues defending. So Martin leads, Danny second, Leopard third, but Joe under real threat from Drawmaster as they go into turn 4, and again that straight just proving not long enough for these cars. I mean, we had a superb race last time out in Canada, action everywhere we looked. We expected the same again tonight. It has come at times, but it has come in dribs and drabs, you could say, that this track proving to be tough to overtake on, James.
I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's almost the permutations of this race mean more than the race itself. It's very much, these guys are trying their absolute utmost to take the lead in the championship, going to the halfway point and heading towards the British Grand Prix. If you weren't aware, this is the first of our, I could say, double headers of where we follow actual real life Grand Prix. So nice little fact there. But yeah, Martin and Danny, these two, we know they need to make a big statement here because Rosberg is 6th. And again, it's not a fantastic result from Rosberg if he's 6th. He needs to find a little bit more. These guys, if they're going to really go for the championship, they need these big results like the top 3 at the moment, especially Leopard. Hasn't won a race so far this season. This is his biggest opportunity yet, you could say, to win a Grand Prix.
Well, Drawmaster right up behind Joe again, and again unable to find a way through. I mean, Leopard, will he be praying for Danny to get into the pits sometime soon? Because surely he will fancy his chances against Martin. We've seen already that he is the quicker driver in this Grand Prix between them, and again he's closing right up onto this duo. So Leopard will be screaming for Danny to get into the pits. You're ruining my tyres in this dirty air. Get in the pit lane so I can start attacking Martin. I mean, it's going to be a fascinating battle between the two of them. And I mean, we're supposed to be neutral. We are commentators, but 5 different winners in 5 different races is something we want to be singing about when we come to Silverstone, isn't it, James?
Absolutely, and there's a fair few British drivers in this field as well, so they'll want to be singing that they hopefully can get on the top step in that race. You're right though about what you're saying about Leopard. He just needs Danny now. He's actually getting really in his way, and here comes Leopard, and he's gone really late on the move there, Danny, to defend the inside. But Leopard, I wonder if he's lost any part of his front wing. That's just halted his charge as well. Awful bit of racing.
Meanwhile, Drawmaster, he's making a move on Joe and finally gets it done. Is Joe going to retaliate on the run down towards turn 4? Drawmaster, the Super Swede, makes another place up. 4th place now for the Swede, and he is on a mission towards the podium places, it would seem. So when Danny pits, that will be 3rd, and Joe sends a missile up the inside into turn 6. Goodness me, what a move that is! And I'm amazed that Drawmaster seen him coming, and the two of them didn't end up in the gravel trap. That was absolutely awesome racing between those guys. Joe snatches the place back, Drawmaster caught unawares, and Joe is back in position for the podium spot. Goodness me, what a move, James.
He must have sent that move from Sweden. That was absolutely ridiculous. Unbelievable move from Joe. Moves himself into 3rd in this Grand Prix. And Danny, like we've just suggested, is coming into the pits, bolting on that set of ultra soft tyres. And guess who's he behind of? Is his teammate Mike Marshmallow. So, I mean, it's going to be quite easy to point out who's going to be overtaking whom in that Force India scrap.
Danny back out onto the track in 9th. He's got 5 seconds.
Drawmasters side by side actually with Joe as they head down towards turn 4. It's not over yet. The Super Swede making light work of Joe under the brakes. Joe's going to give it a good go right around the outside. He's not going to be able to hold it, is he? No, not quite. Drawmaster sticks on in there. He's going to keep him around the outside. Joe banging wheels with him again, the Red Bull. Back out the inside goes Joe, and this time he's through into 3rd place. What a tremendous battle this is for 3rd and on the podium spot.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Drawmaster was like that. Hold on a minute, I'm not having that move at turn 6, stand with it for the rest of the Grand Prix. I'm coming back at you. He came back and Joe said, oh yeah, I'm coming back again then, and takes that 3rd place back once more. What a battle, and Leopard is in the pit lane. Why is my question.
What? Yeah. What has gone on there? Let's take a look if he's going to change his front wing. Now he doesn't change his front wing.
Two-stop.
Very interesting.
So does that mean everyone else is doing
interesting.
that? Does that mean everyone else is doing that and we've maybe called it wrong? I don't think so, surely not.
No, surely not. It's a big statement though from him and Danny in this race. So Drawmasters all over the back of Joe once again as they head down towards turn 4. Rosberg is licking his lips at this opportunity.
Yeah, real chance for Rosberg to get himself involved. And if these guys are all going to the end, it is now for 2nd place. Will they go to the end? I mean, I can't wait to watch Danny and Leopard try and come back through the field. Is their strategy the correct one, or is staying long on the soft tyre the correct one? Martin, he might be a little bit concerned himself, you know, because we all know what happened in Bahrain. Leading the race comfortably, puncture last lap, finished 8th. So Martin, well, he may be having doubts in his mind as well about getting to the end of the Grand Prix on soft tyres. A few 3-second time penalties popping up there at the bottom of the screen as Drawmaster again lines up Joe. What a titanic tussle it's becoming between these two. It has really been the story of the race so far. Terrible camera angle that one as we go back to Drawmaster on board. So out of turn 1, what a slingshot Drawmaster's got coming out of there, and surely on the run up towards turn 2, let alone on the brakes for turn 3, he's going to be making that move. They will be by the time they reach the braking point, side by side, and Joe has the inside line, he has the place, but look at this. Drawmaster back underneath him, tries to make the move with Rosberg tucked right up behind the pair of them. What a brilliant tussle this is. Drawmaster tries again. He'll have to go to the outside into turn 4. We've seen Joe try that, and we've seen it work by the time he gets down to turn 6, but on this occasion it is not the case, and Drawmaster loses out, but he's going to have to keep an eye on Rosberg if he goes offline trying to pass Joe. Rosberg will steam in and snatch the place, won't he, James?
Absolutely. We've got 3 of the most aggressive races that you could have picked, all within the same frame of 1 second. It is unbelievably close, but Joe knows what he needs to do in this race. Just defend like crazy if he's not going to make another pit stop in this Grand Prix. I'm so interested to see what Danny does. He's already 6 tenths behind Mike Marshmallow. That gap at the start of the lap, I'll let you know, was 3.2 seconds. Absolutely flying round is Danny at the moment. Set the fastest out of the previous lap as well. This is going to be monumentally something at the end. It's all down to the tyres now. We have no other say in this.
Well, there you go, 1 minute 7.1. Leopard sets the fastest lap on his tyres. Surely Mike will move aside for Danny, will he? Will he not?
Rosberg!
Oh, yeah, Rosberg, he's up the inside of Drawmaster, and he's made it stick. That was apparently quite late on the brakes, I believe. I didn't catch it. I take it it was, as Danny has also made his way past Mike Marshmallow. Did you see it, James?
Yeah, just saw Danny making a move past Mike Marshmallow. Sort of caught the battle between Rosberg as well. Leopard is also all over the back of Mike. Now, if anything's going to be said in that Force India party, it's going to be, hold this position, Mike. Don't let Leopard through. And he sure as hell hasn't. He's just squeezed him off the road and making sure that he's definitely not going to be making much progress in this race. Rosberg got his elbows out, though. Just so aggressive on the braking, like we just said. Unbelievable how late he came on the brakes, but he's got the move done. And now we're in for a possibility of rematch from Australia between Joe and Rosberg.
Yeah, wow, look at this. Leopard right behind Mike now. Surely he is going to get that move done down the start-finish straight. He's so close to him, but as you've already mentioned, James, hold position will be the message from Force India. That is the message on the pit board as they go into turn 1, and Leopard on the exit is going to pull alongside Mike Marshmallow, squeezing him right over towards the edge of the circuit. I would say that was fair. He wasn't alongside, so Mike Marshmallow could dictate the line. Leopard will try again. We know how Leopard likes to brake. That's extremely late, and he's far too late. He's off the road, and Mike Marshmallow will wave on his way past. back up into 8th place. That was so late for Leopard. I'm surprised it didn't stop in Germany, let alone at the braking point for turn 3. Goodness me, Leopard is back on his way again, but with extremely flat-spotted tyres. They must be looking like 50-pence pieces, James.
That was scary. I was just holding my breath when we went for that move. That was just stellar. He was just so determined to get past Mike. He'd go through any inch of the circuit to get that move done, and he still couldn't get it done. Fantastic between those two. Love to see that. And yeah, we probably want to keep an eye again on Leopard and Mike, because they're pushing each other through the final corner. Could Leopard get him towards turn 1? He's got the DRS wide open. Mike is now just extended the gap between him and Danny to 4.5 seconds. How has this ruined Leopard's race? He's up the inside. He's pushed Mike all the way through, and he's into P8 finally in this Grand Prix.
Wow. Well, that was so late on the previous lap. Surely Mike's not going to do the same thing in this lap, or they will both end up in Germany. And thankfully, they both negotiate at turn 3, with Leopard now up into 8th. And as you say, 5 seconds already between Leopard and Danny. That is absolutely astonishing. How much higher in the remaining 7 laps can Danny get then? He's right on the tail of Morso now. And after Morso, it's another 4 seconds to Reynolds. And then it's anybody's game after that one. So if he can get past Morso, there's a chance of at least second here for Danny, and he's on a mission. Here he goes. Morso is moving aside. He is moving aside. There's no point in fighting it, he says. I'm going to try and hold off Leopard in the remaining laps. I know you're coming fast. 4.4 seconds. Can he hold off Leopard? Tough ask if you ask me.
Absolutely, and he can actually, if you ride on board with Danny, you can see that 4-way fight for P2 in this Grand Prix. It's absolutely epic to see that. And also didn't have his help of his teammate Apex, who was not recently retired. He retired from this race a good 10 laps ago.
Hold on, a lunge, a very late lunge from Rosberg. Again up at turn 3. He's already done it to Drawmaster. He tried it on Joe, and goodness me, that was close. And if you remember, these two battled so hard, and that's very late from Rosberg. What a lunge that is! He pushes alongside him, and they go side by side, running down the hill. And now Drawmaster is right there as well, and Reynolds isn't far behind either. Meanwhile, Joe and Rosberg knocking lumps out of each other here. And this is incredible. Is it Joshua Klitschko, or is it Joe versus Rosberg? I'm not quite sure. Unbelievable as they run down towards turn 9. Absolute scenes in the battle for second place. It's Joe, it's Rosberg, it's Drawmaster, and it's TVR Reynolds. What a battle. Martin is off in the distance. Forget Martin. This is absolutely insane.
Unbelievable. I was holding my breath once again when that happened, because Drawmaster was getting in there thinking, you know what, I can make this 3 wide going into a left-hand hairpin. There's only got enough room for 2 cars, let alone 3, and he tried to put his car involved there as well. Couldn't get it done in the end, but this is going to be a late lunch from Rosberg. You could sense it, you could see it, and he's not quite got it done towards turn 4. Here comes Reynolds up the inside of Drawmaster. He's got the move done as well. The Ferrari is through, and now we're in for a battle between the Red Bull, the Mercedes, and the Ferrari.
Absolutely incredible. I am absolutely loving.
Oh, he's got again! Goodness me, sorry to go across.
I'm absolutely loving this from Rosberg in particular. Rosberg and Reynolds, the two of them are not interested in sitting behind anyone. They are going for any opportunity that's available, and we are sweating in the commentary box. I don't know if you know, it's been quite warm in the UK of late, and talking ferociously like this is really getting me in a sweat on here. Rosberg is right up behind Joe now, and goodness me, surely pretty soon they two are going to come into extremely close quarters once again. But look at these 4: Joe, Rosberg, Reynolds, Drawmaster. If you're watching in the chat, try and pick who's going to be second in the race, because I have not got a Scooby-Doo. James, do you? Because I don't.
I don't, but I can tell you for free, there's a man coming up behind them increasingly quickly, and it's of the Force India variety. Danny is 9/10 of a second up behind these guys. Now, we've got 4 laps to go. There is going to be a mess for the podium. There is going to be a mess for second place, but I don't care, because it's going to be so exciting. It's going to throw us off our feet. Watch this and learn, ladies and gents. This is how you're going to witness ILR, an absolute cluster for second place in this Austrian Grand Prix.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be riveting. It is going to be fingernail biting towards the end. Remember though, Danny does have a 6-second time penalty. We are not going to let that take away from our excitement, because he is going to come dicing through the field here, slicing and dicing his way through his first victim is going to be Drawmaster. The Swedish driver is under pressure already. The ultra soft driver, Danny M7, is on a mission here. He's going to move right onto the tail of that Williams car as he goes through the final corner, and already he's tucked right up behind him. Meanwhile, in front of that, EVR Reynolds attacks Rosberg. You've got the perfect view as we right on board with Danny. Reynolds round the outside of Rosberg in the turn one. Rosberg keeps his foot in. They go side by side. Drawmaster's going to make it 3 ways going up the hill. Absolutely sensational scenes here in ILR1 on Xbox. Rosberg holds firm. Reynolds tries the outside on the brakes. Drawmaster's got nowhere to go in the middle, and somehow the 3 cars go into the corner and exit the corner in the same positions they were in, James. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Here comes Reynolds again, though. He's going towards turn 4. He goes again, getting around the outside. He's going to be a good go, the Ferrari. Can he hold it in there? Not quite. And here comes Danny on the exit as well against Drawmaster. He'll have to try and hold it all the way around the outside of that Williams as they head towards turn 6. Here comes Reynolds again. I'm losing the words out my mouth here, but it's not just coming for Danny. He's up the inside through the chicane. Not quite close enough. It is incredible.
That is not a place to try and move. I'm glad Danny decided against that one. That was incredible. And here he goes again! Oh,
he's got on the inside!
Oh, goodness me, I'm losing my breath. And somehow Danny completes the lap, still in 6th position, but surely in a few moments' time he's going to catapult out of turn 1 and have a run at the Swedish driver. In a few moments' time, up the hill they go. It's lap 34 out of 36. TRL Martin leads and is on course to end the 4 different winners in 4 races here in round 5 in Austria. Who is going to be second as Danny has a late lunge on Drawmaster? And that, for me, was a little bit silly, and he surely will get a penalty for that one. That was far too late on the brakes. He slides into the side of Drawmaster, forces him off the
Reynolds at the inside.
As Reynolds tries a move on Rosberg. We'll let the stewards decide that one. We've got too much on our own hands to be watching to give opinions, don't we, James?
Absolutely. Rosberg was so under pressure there from, it was Reynolds, and look at Leopard. He's all over the back of Drawmaster. He's got the move, and he's made it. No, he hasn't, because he's in the gravel, and he's facing backwards. Not what he would have wanted. He'll be coming against... Nearly collected Mike on the way through as well there. Oh my goodness me, this is crazy.
Absolutely crazy. There's no other word for it. A bit of shame about that move from Danny on Drawmaster. It was just a little bit desperate, to be fair. I mean, he could have held out a little bit longer before trying it, and in the end he just bundled Drawmaster off the road to take that 5th position. Danny is now in position though to have another look, but Reynolds is again trying on Rosberg on the brakes for turn 3. There's no way through, and Joe somehow, who has been the cork in the champagne bottle at the start of this race and now at the end of this race, is still firmly holding on to that 2nd position. I've got no idea how, as Reynolds tries again up the inside of Rosberg. That Ferrari has got incredible straight line speed. How is he closing so quickly in a straight line? I have got no idea. You've got Rosberg who likes a late lunge, you've got Reynolds who likes a late lunge, you've got Danny who likes a late lunge. It's only going to end in tears if we continue like this. And Joe at the front of the train is just like, yeah, you guys just keep battling, I'm quite happy here. But surely in a few moments he's going to come under some serious threat from Rosberg, who is also under serious threat from Reynolds, who is also under some serious threat from Danny as they go into the final corner. I've got no idea how to call this, as Reynolds now picks up a 3-second time penalty, and I've got no idea who's got what in this Grand Prix. All I know is Martin's cruising and is on course for victory, James.
Yeah, absolutely, but this is now the final lap for this Austrian Grand Prix. Boy, is it flown by. Let's take a look and see whether Rosberg is going to do what Rosberg did in real life to Hamilton, or vice versa as they head towards turn 3. He goes so loud on the brakes, he's going to get the move. Here comes Reynolds at the inside. He's come from nowhere. Oh my goodness me, he's got the move done. He's side by side with him as they head down towards turn 4. Danny's up there. The rear end of these cars has broken. The Ferrari had gone up to turn 4. He's going to try the outside line this time, get the switch back. He's not going to be close enough. That could be his race gone. That could be the podium he's wanted in this race. Just completely out of his question though. He's going to try again. And Danny's lost his front wing. Goodness me.
Danny's lost his front wing, but Martin's in the final corner. Martin's in the final corner. We're going to have to go to him. I hate to do it, but Martin is rounding the final corner. He's going to end that streak of 4 different winners in 4 races.
Reynolds.
It's TRL Martin who wins, but meanwhile behind that, Reynolds attacking in the final corner on Rosberg. Rosberg off the road. There's nothing he can do, and here comes Reynolds. He frightened him off the road, and it worked. he got the place, but then the penalties come to fruition, and that drops Reynolds right down the order. And Strawmaster retains his 4th position that he lost earlier on, and Rosberg got the 3rd. Wow, absolutely breathless finish to that Grand Prix. It is though, crucially, TRL Martin that does win here in Austria. Leopard went for the 2-stop, Danny went for the 2-stop. These seem to be his biggest rivals, and as a result of that, Martin was able to make the 1-stop work. No puncture this time on the final lap for him. Behind that, I mean, I don't even know how to describe that. It was utter bedlam with Joe coming home in 2nd position, and CRL Rosberg, when all the penalties were sorted out, came home in 3rd. I don't know about you, James, but I cannot wait for these podium interviews. This is going to be ridiculous to try and discuss. But there you go. There they are on the podium. TRL Martin, he's the first man this season to win 2 races. And it's round 5 and he has won in Austria. Remember, he really should have 3 wins to his name, having had that puncture in the final lap in Bahrain. He's more than making up for it now, and he really is emerging as a real contender for the championship. It's Danny who wins, it's Joe who somehow clinged on to 2nd, and it's TRL Rosberg in 3rd. There is your final results then. Martin, Joe, Rosberg are top 3, as I've just mentioned. Drawmaster ended up bringing it home in 4th. It was EVR Morso who was elevated to 5th come the end of the Grand Prix. Reynolds dropped like a stone to 6th from his finishing position due to penalties. Mike Marshmallow brought it home in 7th once again, finishing higher than when he started. Danny M7 dropped all the way to 8th with 9 seconds worth of penalties to his name. Then it was the Renault of TOR Leopard in 9th, and Dralex got the final point in 10th. Goodness gracious me, what a race. I don't even know where to start. Have we got TRL Martin in here yet? I don't think we do we?
He's always a late comer to these interviews.
Well, I don't know how he's later than these guys, because I think these guys should be wiping the sweat off their brow after that one. But let's start with Joe then. He was 2nd. We'll come to Rosberg in a moment, and then hopefully by that time we will have a race winner, TRL Martin. Joe, a superb start to the season, 2 great results, and you followed it up, of course, with 2 non-shows. But again, 2nd position here. Oh, what's he said? Has he sent a message? What was that?
Mike's broke apparently. Oh my god. Go to Martin. Go to Martin.
Okay, well, Joe's
We'll see if Joe gets his problem fixed. Yeah, he won't be joining us. I don't know. Okay, Joe's mic's got broken, which is a shame. We'd love to have heard from him. So we will now, of course, go to our race winner, which of course was TRL Martin. And Martin, well, you're the first man this season to win 2 races. You probably wish you'd done it earlier, given what happened in Bahrain, but you must be absolutely delighted. Started 2nd, got the move done at the start, and just cantered off into the distance when other drivers went onto the 2-stop.
Yeah, it was a strange one. I mean, obviously the win's great, going into the championship, Canada and Austria. Ugh, I was thinking damage limitation to get the 2nd and then the 1st. It's obviously great. Yeah, it was a really bizarre scenario. I'm not sure why Leopard went to the 2-stop. Obviously Danny went for super softs, just trying to get track position after a poor start, but yeah, Leopard should have won that 100%. Yeah. He didn't have any warnings and he was quicker than me, and for some reason he just bailed in. I mean, I had a penalty for corner cutting. I was under a lot of pressure for the majority of the race, so yeah, quite lucky. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the pace, and to get the win is obviously great for my championship.
Yeah, we were very surprised actually to see TOR Leopard come into the pits. He did seem, and you've admitted it yourself, to have the slight pace advantage than yourself in that Sauber, so very surprising to see him come into the pit. But all the action was happening behind you, Martin. It must have been obviously quite what's the word? You were under quite a lot of pressure for a lot of the Grand Prix. But as soon as Leopard came into the pits, you must have just had to cruise at home. How would the tyres come to the finish? Surely thoughts of punctures were coming into your head given Bahrain.
Oh, 100%. I saw Rosberg in 2nd as well. I was just like, oh, the script is real here to get the win. But it was on 75%, so it was a little bit high, but I backed off massively, and I think I went a bit too early to the pits. I just tried to get track position on Leopard because I knew he was a little bit quicker than me. Yeah, just backed off massively. Learned mistakes from Bahrain, and I think they were on like high 70s towards the end, so yeah, pretty pleased.
Yeah. Well, there you go then. So do you think maybe, I don't know, you're a pad user, aren't you, Martin? Is Leopard a pad user?
Yeah. No, he's on the wheel.
So you probably could have ran into serious problems if Leopard was still pressuring you then. Do you think there was a chance you probably would have got a puncture?
Yeah, I think so. I was pushing pretty hard. If I was pushing pretty hard, it would have been the 80s, and that's when alarm bells are ring. So, yeah, but, you know, today wasn't that day, and I got a bit lucky there, but I'm pleased.
Well, congratulations, Martin. Well done on your victory. And you say that these two tracks, Canada and Austria, are damage limitation. They're not really strong circuits generally for you. And what are your strong circuits over the 10 races this season? That's what we want to know. You are now, of course, a championship rival, a contender.
I'm not sure what the calendar is. Yeah, Canada, the characteristics of the circuit doesn't really suit the pad that great. Austria doesn't really suit the way I drive. Got Silverstone coming up, which is one of my strongest tracks in the race, not necessarily quali. But yeah, I haven't really looked at the calendar, but from what I gathered, it's, you know, I'm pretty pleased with the rest of the races, but you can never get complacent. You know, we saw Bahrain, anything can happen, so, and Danny's obviously rapid, Leopard was quicker than me today, so, and Rosberg's always on the podium, always up there, so, yeah. And
what about qualifying? How did you feel with your qualifying lap? Do you think there was any more in the bank?
I thought it was pole, to be honest. It was 2 tenths on a PB, but you know, I thought, you know, 5.5 pretty solid, but difficult to say. Yeah, that's what it is.
It is what it is. So we have got Silverstone coming up. I'll just run it off for you. You've got Silverstone, Belgium, Japan, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. Other than Silverstone, is there any other tracks in there that you feel you could run quite strong at?
Brazil's pretty handy for me. Abu Dhabi, I like it. Japan's probably my weakest tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, but whatever.
Sorry.
Do your best. Yeah, whatever track it is, you just got to do your best, really. Yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations, Martin. You're the first man this season to win 2 races. So congratulations to yourself, and hopefully you can continue your form at Silverstone. So we must now move on. I take it Joe has not managed to get the mic sorted, and he's no longer with us.
Joe's back. Joe's back.
Oh, he has. Brilliant. Good. Well, Joe, that was a race where you looked in your mirrors more than you looked in front of you, wasn't it? Wow.
Yes, it certainly was. Well, at least after the first few laps, I'm sweating quite badly, so it's quite warm today. It was not an easy one considering over the line my tyres were 80+% wear. So last like 10 laps, I was just trying to like sort of cruise it and like find a like sweet spot to keep the tyres in good condition and not lose too much time to the guys behind, because they were very quick. And I obviously wasn't as quick. So yeah, it was pretty tense, especially when people were lunging at my inside. Yeah, I was quite nervous at some points.
What did you feel about any of the moves that were made? Was there anything a little bit over the top in your opinion, or do you think it was all hard and fair? Well, how did you judge it?
Most of it was hard and fair, and if someone did something a bit hard to me, I'd give it a bit... Well, that's a bit weird actually. I'd give it like a bit back to them, if you get what I mean. Yeah. Yeah. If you, yeah.
I wish you could.
So there's a couple of times.
I don't know what you mean. I think it's too hot. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of times I got like proper dive bombs, so I just like send one up the inside in the next corner.
Yeah.
But it was clean mostly, from what I could tell.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were struggling to keep up. I mean, you say yourself you were sweating. Martin said he was sweating. Well, I'm sweating. I'm in the commentary box. I'm not even doing anything, and I'm sweating as well. So there you go. That's just how warm it is here, even in Scotland, for goodness sake. But yeah, great job, Joe. Great job holding them off. I really didn't see you managing to do that, but you know, it was a really clever drive, a calculated drive. Just as you say, pick the sweet spots where you needed to ensure you held on to that place. And some of the battles that were going on, especially in that middle sector, were incredible. What about that lunge? I think it was up the inside on Drawmaster. What a move that was, when it looked like there was no chance. That was the move of the season. I nearly lost my head. It was incredible.
Yeah. At the time I didn't think it was too out of the blue, if you get what I mean, but I was like, I've got to go for this or he's just going to pull away, because I just did not have the pace for that race. I literally got online at about 20 to 7 and that was it really. I saw the practice I got in, didn't do a single race practice, literally just did TT. And quali, I got held up on my lap. I was 2 tenths up on a 5 or 6, I think it was. So there's a possibility of pole, but even if I had pole, I don't think I could have had a chance of winning against Martin. He was too quick today.
So do you think maybe with that lack of practice, gave you little chance in race trim then?
Maybe, but not 8 seconds. What the lead was Martin had over me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Austria's
okay.
not really one of my strong tracks for race, at least. It's all right in quali, but anything other than that is not really like a strong track of mine. And the track limits here, God, they are shocking.
Yeah, I noticed that. There was quite a lot of people getting penalties handed out. And I've got to ask you one final question, Joe. Obviously, 2 no-shows in the last 2 weeks. You're still sitting reasonably well in the Drivers' Championships. Are you regretting missing those 2 races? Do you feel that's going to be decisive in this championship battle, or do you still think there's a chance you could get back into this?
There is a slight chance, although I don't know, just those 2 races are going to hurt me that I've missed. So I'll see what I can do. I think Martin wasn't there for the first race or whatever it was, so I'm still a race down on him, which I could have got some points in. I'm not really sure on the standings. I think I'm like 3rd or something. So there's still like a tiny chance, but I'm not really looking.
Pardon
No, I'm in the moment sort of stuff.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go race by race and see what happens.
Oh, quite right, because that's the way to go about it, because anything can happen. And we must now move on, of course, to a man who's been waiting patiently for the last little while. CRL Rosberg, you ended up being the man that got that final podium spot. Goodness me, I think we need to start sending out medals for the podium after that race. That was just ridiculous. What a battle that was for the final podium spot. And you ended up with the 3rd place. You satisfied with that? Was there more to come, do you think, or how do you feel?
Going off the last 2 races, Canada and Spain, like they were both very damage limitation races. Obviously Spain, I literally put in 0 laps of practice and then got involved in a last lap crash. Canada, I got a penalty plus, and I should have been a lot closer to the front 2 than what I was. Today I put in a lot more practice, but again, qualifying let me down as per. But I knew when I saw Martin, Danny, Leopards and everyone pit really early, I knew that was putting me more in with a chance, because people pitting at like lap 9 or 10, I knew that wasn't the reasonable pit lap. If you wanted to comfortably make it to the end, you needed to pit lap 12 to 14 even, which is what I did. So I knew last 12 laps, I was pretty much going to be way quicker than everyone else, which is what happened. And then I got to the back of Joe and I was suffering with some fuel problems. Like last 3 laps, I was like 0.5 laps down on fuel, so I was literally lifting and coasting everywhere just to get it back down. And I lost my DRS as well, which really helped. But there was literally nothing I could do, especially when after my teammate decided to leave, because he's a bit special in the heads, because he just decides, oh, I can just leave when I want, so shout out. But I think I could have had a better chance at Martin at least, because he did pit quite early, but there was no way I was getting past Joe with no DRS, low fuel, and no slipstream. But yeah, that's really all I can say.
And what about Reynolds? You must have been a little bit concerned about Reynolds. I mean, he did do that same strategy as you, didn't he? So there must have been at times when you were trying to fuel save, you must have thought, oh God, I'm under a real threat from him. He's certainly a real threat, because he had some serious straight line speed, and like yourself, liked a late lunge on the brakes, didn't he?
Yeah, again, like I couldn't do anything going down the straights because I was trying not to go into rich to save the fuel, so I was in standard lead. And if I didn't defend the inside enough, he was going up my inside, which he did a few times. But I was thankfully just the way the track is. If he goes up my inside at turn 4, I've got the inside for the next corner, so that did help quite a lot. So I was very, very fortunate with that. But I also got like a really stupid penalty, which I'll get looked at. Don't know if I'll get taken off, and if not, then I don't really care. It's just 3 points.
And what was that penalty? Can you talk us through it? What was it? How did it come about?
Going into the third sector, obviously you've got the double lefts. I was on the track, and then I've turned in for the corner, and it's given me a penalty. So I was like, oh, safe game. Cheers for that one. And then after that, I didn't get a warning, so I've got everything recorded that's needed. So if it does get taken off, then it's P2. If not, then I'm not overly bothered, because P3 is where I cross the lines. Well, no, I crossed the line fourth actually, but I mean, it's where I probably should have finished, and it's probably what I maybe deserve for the lack of abilities to save fuel.
So are you satisfied then? Would you say third's a good result then, going into the next one?
I think third's good. It's not enough, because Martin is finishing, obviously apart from Bahrain, he's finishing first and second. So and I've had like a seventh and a fourth and a third. So I need to sort out consistency a little bit more, because I think the championship lead now is going to be, well, it's under 10 points or something now. If not, Martin's probably already got the lead. But hopefully, so a couple of more tracks are a bit more helpful towards the pad, which they're probably not. I mean, looking at Abu Dhabi, that's a really good finale, and tracks like Japan and Kota, I'm loving them. But if I can just maintain the consistency that I've sort of got, then hopefully by the end of the season I'm in with some sort of a chance.
And how do you feel going into Silverstone? Is that a track you'll run well?
It's a track where I've had good history, I think. I've had good pace there before, but in comparison to probably someone like Martin, it'll be lucky if I can just about keep up, I think. But a podium should be on the cards for Silverstone, I think.
Well, okay, well, we'll keep an eye and see if you can get yourself onto that podium. I've got to ask you, James, have you got any questions for the drivers? Anything you'd like to add?
I think we fully rinsed them of answers. They're absolutely brilliant. But no, congratulations, top three. Brilliant race once again. I want this to go to the final race of the season. I've said it, but that's what I want to see now.
Well, of course, me and you both. I mean, we'd love to see that. It would be absolutely incredible. I mean, the championship standings, we've not seen them since they've been updated, but I imagine they'll be extremely tight. But something tells me that Martin seems to be the man on the move at the moment. First, second seems to be the way he's going at the moment. So we'll keep an eye and see who can challenge him in the next few races. But we are off to Silverstone next. I believe it is next week. I don't think there's any sort of week break. It is next week. I won't be there, I have to say, but I'm sure you're there, James. You're only going to the Grand Prix on the Sunday, aren't you?
I'm there. I'm only going on the Sunday. You know,
Okay.
cheeky bloke, if you want to meet, you know? No, I'm only kidding. Just do what you like. But yeah, it'll be me in the combox next week. God knows who I'll be with, but hopefully it's a man. And that's about it, really. So, yeah.
Well, there you go then. You'll have James in the commentary box. You won't have me, but that rounds it all off. I'll see you guys all next week for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It's a brilliant result for Martin. He's the first man to win 2 races so far this season. We'll see at Silverstone if he can make it 3. Good night.